It's the Home Podcast Show.
Yo, what's up, folks? Here we go. Hey, MC Ron here. I got some special guests up in the building. We got a couple of retired folks, myself and my brother Billy Amurao. We got a couple of active folks.
Still active.
Mass Chief Dexter Lace and Scene Chief, soon to be Mass Chief 2028, Tom Wainana. What's up, folks? How's everybody?
Oh, you guys here.
You good?
2028.
Like that.
From enlisted. Yeah.
So
Confident.
I like it. So check it out. While we're here, the only reason why we're here is to hopefully we can give some wisdom to the folks that are listening, right? A lot of folks that are listening, young folks in the military, or whether you're retiring or getting out, this is the one that you want to listen to. I know my brother Tom is excited to be in this podcast because he want to share something. This is impromptu. We're watching Super Bowl and we're done watching it. And you know what? Might as well give him a mic real quick and ask him a few things, right? But I'm not going to ask anybody anything because Tom want to say a few things. Brother Tom, let's start with you. So you already got your mic. You good, brother?
My brother, Jesus, let me tell you one thing. I've learned how to live on the ladder. But guess what? I want you to listen to one thing. My friend taught me one thing. If you don't take care of your family,
Want to speak up? Speak up a little bit, brother.
family, when I talk about your family,
Yep.
all crumbles up. Unless you have a family, you have crumbled up. You always tell me, never stop dating. Hey, for you single young girls, Ron Mali always taught me, learn how to date your wife. Guess what? And dating your wife
Family talk.
is a family. But guess what? Always think about who your family is.
I'm not sure if you heard that. My brother said, don't stop dating your wife, right? I always preach about date your wife all the time. Like it was yesterday that you start dating. It's amazing. I can't even believe that you remember that talk that we had. So it's cool, right?
And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I go out with my wife at least, twice a month. Now I'm retired. I've been retired for 5 years now, and even when I was active duty, I never forget to date my wife, because the very first person that put in a lot of sacrifice for all the things that we do in the military is your wife. When you're not around, they're the mother and father of your kids, right? They do all the cooking, cleaning, dropping off your kids, picking up your kids up at school, and sometimes you're not always there. When there's a conference at school, they needed a dad, you weren't there. Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, holidays, we're on deployment, right? And we know the struggle. So kudos to the wife. I love my wife, and great job to all the military wives out there. Really, I really appreciate the hard work that you guys do.
That's an amazing wisdom by itself, right? So, Mass Chief, you're stationed in Japan right now.
Stationed in Japan right now. Yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between being stationed overseas for such a long time and being stationed in the United States?
All right, so massive lace. All right. Currently stationed in Japan, Yokosuka. Now, question is the difference between being stationed overseas, right, with a family, and then being stationed in the United States with I was stationed in Japan back in 2009, right? 2009. Oh yeah, Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl. All right. So 2009, 2014, I was stationed, back in Yoko, right? And then from then I went back, here back to States for, medical stuff and everything, right? Family reason wise. Now, honestly, I think being stationed overseas with your family, it gives you a lot of bonding time. Okay, though it is a forward deploy because I was, RSs, SHs, right? We're a seagoing billet. So the whole time I was in Japan, I was on the ship, right? But it's a 3-month 3 off thing. I felt like it gave me more time to bond with my kids, my wife, and everything then, right? Than when I was in the States. The state is a fast paced, but then again, it depends. It all depends on, of course, your rank, right? When you're in a E6 below thing, you're gonna be doing a lot of stuff, and it also depends on your work ethic, the type of person you are, the type of sailor you are, right? Me, I'm a sailor along with the rest of the guys here. We work a lot, bro. I feel like I owe a lot to the Navy, and that is the reason why I work my butt off. You know what I mean? I don't like to go home early just because I can go home early, right? I don't like going home and then I know there's still stuff that needs to get done, right? And besides, I don't like waking up in the morning or going to sleep thinking that you still got a lot of stuff that needed to get done, right? That would add us to stresses, to your following morning. So, but that is the stateside, right? Now, does it give you not enough time to bond with your kids and family? Of course not, right? But then again, it all depends on how you are, your work ethic, and the reasons behind, putting those times in, right? My whole reason, because I work a lot, that's either States or here, and my whole reason is that everything that I do is all for my family and kids, my wife and kids.
So check it out. I remember serving with you back in 2003. And last time we met in 2017, I was already a mass chief. You was a first class.
Right.
And something hit you. Like, yo, you were third class at the time in 2003. He was a E4. I was a E6. And we met again a decade later. I was a mass chief E9. He was an E6. So he got stuck. Sometimes in the military, you get stuck, but you find a reason to succeed.
Correct.
And in his situation is amazing. When I met him, I have a picture. This is 9 years ago, 2017. It's 2026. He was an E6. All of a sudden, from that time to now, he made mass chief. That's an amazing accomplishment by itself. So can you tell everyone that's watching what motivated you, what drove you to become so determined that you want to get to that level of the highest ranking in enlisted, right?
Correct.
And be the top 1%. Can you share that with the folks that are listening? Because a lot of folks, they think, hey, I've been stuck in this rank for a while. Sometimes I don't feel like I can move forward, but you were determined. Can you tell us or share with us that's listening what motivated you? For folks that are listening, maybe they could do the same and you can inspire them to, you know what, keep moving forward and make it happen. Mass Chief.
Woo, that's a good question there, Mass Chief. retired, you know, RS. You know what RS means nowadays? Real estate, right? All right, so that's a good question, right? Yes, I was stuck as a E5, making first, right? Now, was that my fault? Was that at my expense or causing? I would say yes, right? I didn't study as hard as when I was a third class, going to E5 or E3, E2, making E4, right? I thought I was badass. I thought I was very knowledgeable then, right? So I thought my work ethic, right, would would pave the way for me to making first class, right? Now, all rates in the Navy are not the same. I'm gonna tell you guys that right now. RS is a very hard rate to advance, especially back, you know, back in the days, 2000, early 2000, right? Um, but yeah, so I was stuck as a first class. I'm in the C5 making first. What really woke me up first, really, is what got me is that all the friends and coworkers that I had when I was a E5 and I was seeing them as a E3, E4, right? When I was in Japan, I had a CSC, I forgot his name. While I was walking in an exchange, he was saying, "Hey, chief," he was saying chief, he was saying senior chief, but I wasn't looking back. But I felt like he was calling me, but I didn't want to look back because I wasn't a chief. So this guy, I think what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. I couldn't remember his name. Then he tapped my arm, like, "Yo, bro, man, what's up, bro? How you been? You picked up star? What are you?" And I was like, damn, I was a little embarrassed because I like, nah, man, I'm still trying to make first class, bro. So I was like, man, it kind of it kind of got me, kind of bothered me inside because a lot of people really thought that I was gonna do good, you know, I was gonna advance quick because I was doing good when I was at E4, E5. I was doing qual, man, like I thought I was shit hot, but then I was thinking about I keep giving myself an excuse reason why I wouldn't make it. It's because of the quota.
Oh, okay.
So our quota back then was so hard. It was you
it
had to
was
score
low.
really
It
hard,
was low.
right?
Yeah.
Low.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
I was giving myself that excuse reason why I wasn't making it, right? But that wasn't a good excuse. I know I was just using it as an excuse. But what got me though, man, after I made first class, E5 making first class, is that staying positive. Okay, surrounding yourself with the right crew or the right group. When I was on the Blue Ridge, I was lucky enough that I had a good crowd around me, right? Billy was one, Zeta was another one, Mike Tolentino was also another one, and then our one I forgot his name, Hispanic dude. He was a records keeper, one of our records keeper. Momo, he's a first class. Molina, there you go, Richard Molina. There you go, Richard Molina, right? We were all determined, and we all had the same focus. It was to take over the ship, right? We were all D set as E5, bro.
We were all second class.
We were the first one to be on a D set, right? And we took over that ship, right? Yo, everything.
We ran the ship.
You ran the
That's
ship,
what's
bro.
up.
All the programs we did it. We was running it. The East, West, the Air. We was running those programs, right? 5 LSO. We were doing it, right? And then that, and we had that. We had the group study, right? Because we were all determined to advance, bro.
Yeah.
And we were seeing all the other chiefs, right? Remember the conversation that we had? We're like, man, if this chiefs
Can make chief.
can make it, and they're not. I'm gonna call it as it is, right? We gotta call it as it is.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why it's a
we gotta call it as
podcast.
it is.
Raw, no filter.
Yo, no filters, no nothing.
That's it.
We had khakis that were supposed to be leading us, right? Well, I'm not gonna say no names now, okay? Because I don't want to create no big things.
Of course.
But in general, right? If you see, because we used to see khakis like, man, I can't believe these guys are leading us. If these guys can make it, why can't we? Right? I know our rate is hard, but if we just study, bro, right? We will make Sailor of the Year. It was a time where Sailor of the Year, I was supposed to be a junior Sailor of the Year, and we had a blue jacket. So we swept that, right? But then again, for some reason, they got Sailor of the Year, blue jacket, For some reason, my name got replaced with someone else.
Because they said we can't give
We can't have the
all
all S,
or SH.
yeah, SHs. You know, we can't have them. We can't have them all. So cool. But I took that as a positive motivation. If you take that as a negative, because a lot of people would take that as a negative.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, the heck with this Navy, the heck with chain of command. Nah. The success, I think, is always being positive. You can't look at things in a negative way. You know, things happens. Yeah, you can say a lot of things negatively, but you gotta use it as a positive, as a motivation, right? A motivational source for you to advance. And to prove this more, you know, prove them people, I'm trying not to curse, that they made a mistake.
Bro, you can say fuck that shit.
Yeah, well, fuck it. I told him, you know
what I'm
fuck
saying?
this motherfucker.
This is my fucking podcast.
You know?
You're a master.
Yeah,
You're good.
you know. But motivation, man, motivation, because along the way, even when I made first class, sure, there was still some stuff that you know, again, if you would look at things in negative, oh, damn, I didn't get picked up. I'm like back-to-back set of the year. I got 5 OE-bus. Why am I not picking up, right? But if you stay negative, because some people they would take that to negative, right? But then again, it's always good to surround yourself with the right crowd.
Right.
Okay. Great minds, things alike, right? Successful people always hang out with the successful people. You don't see billionaires hanging out with, you know, what street
broke ass motherfucker.
You don't do that, right? That's one thing I learned. And having a good mentor, and I've been blessed to have a good mentor. Ron has actually been my mentor, you know, ever since I joined the Navy in Allegre. Remember I said
solid fucking guy.
Allegre, Stan.
Yep.
Stan Allegre. So that's that, man. Stay motivated, you know, along with your work ethic, right? And the reason why you're doing it and being positive is what will get you there. You know, using those negative experience as a motivational sources and weapons, right, to weaponize you and your career and your you know, your goal. So yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because Stan Allegre is one of my fellow first class back in Bellawood. Amazing leader. So I tell folks all the time, it's not about your rank, it's not about your pay grade, it's not about your position. Leadership is not about all that. It's what can you do to help someone succeed in life. So Stan Allegre, 2003, on board the USS Bellawood, one of the guys, first class, for some reason he never made chief, but that doesn't really matter, because that guy is very successful, not only financially, he's very successful with his family. If I'm not mistaken, he's probably a multi-millionaire right now, but he's so low key and so amazing as a leader that I respect him a lot. So if you're listening, Stan Allegre, retired first class, much respect to you. So it doesn't matter what you achieve in the military as far as rank goes, as far as position goes, it's what you've done. And you, my man, has affected and helped us and paved the way for us, even though at that time we were the same rank in the military. I have so much respect for you, and hopefully you're listening to this, and it's amazing, right? So Stan Allegre, much respect for you and your family. You're one of the leaders that I've respected since I was young, and we were both the same rank at the time. But I respect you as you were like a chief, senior chief, or master chief in the military. Much respect. So, Brother Billy, I know he retired as well. I just want to check, what are the things that you think that you learned in the military that made you successful outside, brother? I got you.
Brother, that's a great question. So anyway, there was a lot of things that I've learned in the military that made me successful as a retired retail specialist, senior chief. So one of the things that I've learned is that, you know, not everything so here, I'm sorry. So here's the thing that I've learned so far, that, you know, I retired 20 years in the Navy, and for as long as I know, I wanted to retire 30 years. first of all, and I was aspiring Master Chief, but I retired as a senior chief. And the reason why I retired as a senior chief is because, you know, and I mentioned that before with my fellow brothers here, is that calling, right? Calling to, you know, you've done enough for the Navy, you've helped a lot of people already, and I know I owe it to the Navy, you know. Ever since I was a junior sailor, you know, I owe it to the Navy. Navy gave me everything. You know, the success that I'm having right now, I owe it to the Navy. Gave me a lot of knowledge, gave me a lot of leadership knowledge, networking, all of that, right? And I think that, and I mentioned earlier, is that because my family is my number one motivator, right? My family sacrificed a lot in terms of, you know, things that I miss, lifetime things that I would never get back. You know, things that I wanted to be there but I wasn't there. Birthdays, anniversaries, you know, things that, you know, happening in school, I wasn't there. You know, important things, recognitions from my kids, I wasn't there. You know, and those sacrifices, I know them. You know, and when I say I know them, I said, you know what, I think 20 years is enough for me. It's time to get back to my family. And I decided to, although, you know, I love the Navy, I wanted to be a Master Chief, I wanted to retire as a Master Chief, I let it go.
We actually had a pact then. We were all gonna make Master Chief, you know.
Yes.
Him, Kevin Zira, myself.
Let me say one thing. So, let me tell you, this doesn't matter if you make Master Chief or not. I tell folks all the time, you serve 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. It doesn't matter what your pay grade is, what your rank is, what your position is. It's the impact you made while you're in. So for you folks listening, don't get the rank and position. Don't get it twisted. It's not all about that. Now the question is, what do you do after you retire? Are you still making a positive impact after retirement? So retire as senior chief, that's an amazing accomplishment. Like what I told you, Alegre, Stan, first class retired. It doesn't matter. That guy, I look up to this guy like he was a Master Chief to me because of his leadership. His leadership is amazing. So, brother, don't ever, I know you don't look back and say, yo, I could have done it and all that. You've done some amazing things. I know we never had a chance to hang out and stuff, but I've heard of you for a long time. I wish I could hang out with you more often because I know your name rings a bell, even though you've been stationed in Japan for a very long time, because you made an impact for the people that you had a privilege and honor of leading. So, brother, I'm already honored that you're here with me, with us, just chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? So, Thank you for your service. Thank you for leading the way. Thank you for paving it for the folks that are following us. And it's just an amazing accomplishment. Now you're back in the almost like a military but civilian, but now inspecting, right? As an inspector, as a GS position in the military. So it's amazing accomplishment. So thank you for that. Don't ever, because you are a Master Chief material no matter what it is. It doesn't matter who, what says, or whatever case may be. I've sat the board 6 times. I know when I look at somebody's record, what it takes to make it to the next level. That's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, is just screen everyone's record in the military and know exactly who the next leader is to take charge and lead our folks. So, brother, you've done well, and thank you for what you've done. And it's about time to get back to your family, which is amazing, because the moment you mention family, I'm all for it, bro. So thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ron. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And the things that I do now, it's that you mentioned earlier, like what are the things that I've learned in the military that I can apply in the civilian world, right?
Yep.
So, um, first thing first is I don't know
Learning
if
rates.
and I know in my heart that I was able to make an impact to all the junior sailors that I led back in the days when I was active duty, and I'm humbly and thankful that you've given me that chance, and I've seen a lot of them that advances to the highest rank as possible that they are right now, and I'm glad I did from the bottom of my heart that you've taken the advice that I've given you, so and in making an impact in the world's finest navy right now. And one of the things that I've learned is that humility, right?
Yeah.
So always when I first made chief, when I made chief, the first thing that they teach you is being humble, right? Humility. Although you reach the highest peak rank in the Navy, right? But when you get out, that's nothing. You're nothing. No, you're nobody, right? But then you're gonna have to apply what you've learned in the military by being resourceful, right? You use all of that, and I'm very thankful for what I've learned in the military, right? Back then when I retired, my family and I was, anxious and nervous, like what are we gonna do right now? Guess what? Navy gave you a lot of training. Navy put you into a lot of schools, and I've used all of that, right? And I have this position at TICOM where I can go back and train, teach every sailors out there how to do their job, right? So I'm glad I embedded that into my system, and being humble is always the greatest thing that you can ever have as a person, because if you're not humble, nobody's gonna hire you, right? When you get out of the military, you're nobody, right? The only thing that you have on your record is how well you did in the Navy, how efficient are you, and how well are you as a person, and brought a lot of credit in the military, right? You can put all of that in your resume, right? And do the same thing over again. I mean, being retired, I'm not gonna lie, I wish I'm still in the military. I've been doing it for 20 years, right? And Brother Ron, correct me if I'm wrong.
Military stuff right
Sometimes
now. You're just
you
getting
think, what, if I was in the military, I would do this, I would do that, right? But we can't stay in the military forever, right? So a lot of those experience when I left, right, when I retired, I used all of that. And now my job as a TICOM representative, I teach, I train, I inspect, right? And it's an honor, it's really a big honor for me to do that. And I did that, and I was able to be in that position because of my experience in the military, by being humble and retain what I've learned, leadership, networking, all of that. You can use all of that when you retire and apply that being as a civilian, and boost your resume, do the things that I love, train the military, and make a big impact. Although I'm not wearing the uniform as a civilian, I can still do that. Loving it, brother. Loving it.
Bro, I'm glad you mentioned humility, because it's funny, because I tell folks all the time, if you want to achieve success, real success, sometimes you got to put your ego and pride in your back pocket to achieve success. Listen to what I said. Put your ego and pride in your back pocket to achieve success. That's one thing I learned, because coming out, retiring, and doing real estate, we came in as a E nothing. We told folks, the brokers, and let them know, yo, we're nobody. And even though we retire as a master chief, we're nobody. We might be the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant of basketball in the Navy, but we are nobody. This is baseball. We're not Baby Ruth in baseball. We're nobody. So we're learning from scratch, and that's the way it is. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
This is part 1. I'm gonna put this on hold. We'll continue part 2.